Good morning and happy Monday to the Ungoverned the Captain's crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned. I decided to do a long good morning because I saw one of Sauce's comments in the chat. He wrote good morning and like how I would say it. So it gave me that extra enthusiasm. It gave me that extra inspiration to just go a little bit further than I normally go every morning. Good morning, Brennan Celia. We're going crazy. All right. Today's Matthias' birthday? I saw someone tell him happy birthday. Is it Matthias' birthday today? Can we get confirmation? You know, we don't want to run with unconfirmed. We're not Tony Saruga. We don't run with unconfirmed stuff. He's at it again, that guy, by the way. Called him out last night. People are like, oh, wow, he is full of crap. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It is. Happy birthday to Matthias, right? He's a gay person, right? Gay wad, right? A transformer, they call them, robots in disguise. Happy birthday. He's 40. What an old, wow. Old. Let us know where you're watching from. Everybody, let us know where you're watching from. If you're on Rumble, if you're on X, anywhere else, let us know. Let us know where you're coming from, where you're seeing the show from here. Phyllis in Texas over there. Let's see what we got going on. It is a good day. We're gonna have an interesting show. We're gonna have a very interesting show. Celine says a former high school classmate of mine was on MSNBC. Stage 5 TDS. Whoa. Scary. Very scary. Laura from North Carolina. Celine's watching from Massachusetts. We call it massive to. We've got. Yeah, someone says watch that old crap. There you go. Hurricane Winky has returned from Florida. I see Michigan in the house. Gulf of America in the house. Pennsylvania in the house. Indiana in the house. We got another PA. We got Columbus, Ohio. Miami in the house. Poconos. Saskatchewan. We got a 51 in the house. Our guy, Fire Guy 17. California in the house. Think responsibly. I know who that is. That would be our good friend Ramont. Nashville in the house. There he is. That's his show is done so well. It is produced so well. Think responsibly. Yes, there he is. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. There you go. North Carolina in the house. Minnesota in the house. The land of Tampon Tim. Goodness gracious. Freehold, New Jersey in the house. Joe from Texas is in the house. I see Minnesota again. Virginia, Missouri. I'm skipping. I'm just rolling through the chat because it's going faster. It's going faster than I've ever seen before. California in the house. Minnesota in the house again. Just down the road, Huntsville, Alabama in the house. Texas, South Dakota. We're going to merge the Dakotas, right? Yeah, it is a red cup. But it's not a red Solo. It's a mug. It's a tea mug. I promise there's no vodka in it. I promise there's no vodka. It's just some really good vanilla tea. You know, like Zuko from Avatar. You have to drink your tea. You drink your tea and it will settle your mind, Zuko. All right. What are we going to do today? Well, we're going to talk about this Brian. No, that's not his name. Josh Shapiro. There actually is a Brian Shapiro who I can't stand. Oh, he's an unhinged lunatic. He's a cancel culture fanatic. But that's okay. Governor Josh Shapiro, his family under attack. Or was attacked at 2 a.m. at the governor's residence in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the capital of Pennsylvania. And it's very easy for me to come out, and we did this. A lot of folks on the right did this. There is no place for political violence, period. And don't hit me with conspiracy theories about, he planned it. It was then you all look like people who think that Donald Trump staged the assassination attempt. There are lunatics. Lunatics do lunatic things. And a lunatic tried to kill Josh Shapiro and his family, okay? Now, it appears the lunatic was an Antifa type. It appears the lunatic was a as he called himself on Facebook, registered socialist. There are rumors that the lunatic who attacked Governor Josh Shapiro was a pro-Palestinian. They call him Jewanon now, which is hilarious. A pro-Palestinian, pro-Kamala supporter. Those rumors stemmed from a post made by clickbait artist and fraudster Tony Saruga. So, look, I don't believe them because he posted it, because everything he posts is nonsense. That's the Zipline guy. You know? And he says he tracked his... This is a good one. He said, this Tony Saruga guy says he tracked the person who attacked Josh Shapiro's phone. The phone number that he says he tracked was a landline. So that must be a really long cord there, Tone. Now, again, I'm not saying that he's not a pro-Palestinian or anti-Trump. There's also a picture of him in a mask that says F Trump, not the mask, but the photo says F Trump. Somebody added that to make him look like he wasn't. There's no reason for fake news, right? So what we don't know his who he voted for, or if he's a Jewanon, anti-Jew, pro-Palestine, whatever. But we do know that he called himself a registered socialist. There was a picture of something he posted on his Facebook, some sort of image that showed a Molotov cocktail. It said, "Be the light you want to see in the world." So he's got problems, okay? He looks like Rasputin from Russia, right? Rasputin, right? He tried to kill Anastasia. We know Anastasia. Anastasia's a wonderful person, right? The Duchess. She's one of the Romanovs. And Rasputin, right? Rasputin with Rasputin. Took her out and killed Tsar Nicholas II. It was horrible. So we don't know much about the guy, but it looks like he's certainly not a MAGA guy. All right? And my thing is, with political violence, it doesn't matter whether you're left, right, center, up, down, you're from another planet, you're from another country, you're from another dimension. Political violence in all forms, every form, is unacceptable. And there's a reason why I come out here and I say this a lot, and it gets people upset because it's not what you want to hear, and I understand that. There's going to be a little bit more of that on the show today because we have to talk about Real ID and why everybody, I think, is getting a little too, well, in some cases a lot worked up, but most people are getting a little too worked up. Most are getting a little too worked up. Some people are getting very worked up about Real ID. All right, and we'll get to that. And I said something a couple of days ago, list the nasty names that I was called online. Good thing we don't take anything on the internet personally. And it turns out Kristi Noem echoed those exact same comments today. It's weird how we're usually ahead of these things. But I always come out on the show and I say, look, even January 6th, okay? I was there. I didn't do anything wrong. I got out of there before things got crazy because Antifa stalked me and slashed our tires. And we got out of there. My name's on a police report, the whole 9 yards. For those of you who don't know the story, there is a story there. But I always use January 6th as an example because it's the first thing that the left goes to, right? The left will go to, well, what about January 6th and your guys' political violence? So yeah, you're right. Any sort of political violence that was committed on January 6th is unacceptable. I've never changed my position on that. Now, what I caveat that with is if people were provoked into being violent, a.k.a. peaceful protesters having rubber bullets shot at them for no reason, what do you expect those people to do? Laugh about it? But there were some people who showed up to January 6th with bad intentions. There were some people who showed up to January 6th with good intentions, and they got caught up, and emotion took the wheel, and they did bad things. It's okay to admit that. It's also okay to condemn that. Not necessarily saying that the person who did it is an insurrectionist, but saying that the person who went to January 6th, made a mistake, committed violence, maybe assaulted a cop, unprovoked, whatever it might have been, made a mistake. That doesn't make them a bad person, doesn't make them an insurrectionist, doesn't make what the left is saying accurate about an insurrection. But it's about having standards, right? All political violence is unacceptable. We are victims of political violence. I've been a target of political violence for the last 4 years. 5 years now. Brennan and I got swatted a month ago. None of it is acceptable. None of it is acceptable. Period. So we'll get to the Shapiro thing. Because suddenly now the left has a problem with arson. They didn't have a problem with arson when Tesla dealerships were being burned down. They were like, oh, yay, free speech. Now they have a problem with arson. By the way, I have a problem with Tesla dealerships being burned down. I have a problem with Governor Josh Shapiro's home being attacked and firebombed, okay? Period. Now, real quick, to anybody who's watching from Warren County, Ohio, if you happen to be here today, you guys up there in Warren County, I went to Warren County, Ohio Thursday night last week. That's why Friday's show was pre-recorded. And I hear that it went pretty well. I got feedback about that Pelosi clip that I played, that she calls out China. Warren County, Ohio, you guys, there was 520 people at this Lincoln Reagan dinner for the Warren County GOP in Ohio. Vivek Ramaswamy gave an amazing speech, and I got to give it to him. He's a class act, a really cool dude, very approachable, and he enjoyed my bit. I'm happy to say that. So it was a really fun time at the Warren County Republican Party Lincoln Reagan dinner in Warren County, Ohio. That party looks like it's ready to kick ass and take names in the local elections coming up and the gubernatorial elections next year. And I am very much looking forward to seeing Vivek Ramaswamy elected the next governor of Ohio. I know there are folks on the show or in the chat who aren't necessarily fans of his or didn't trust him last year and whatever. Having now met him, listen, I'm not his best friend, but a very approachable guy and really cool, really fun. It was a great time Thursday night in Ohio. So a big thank you to anybody who's watching from Warren County, Ohio. It was a pleasure coming out there and putting on a show for that crowd. Really, really fun time. All right, let's get to a word from our friends at OFP Farms. Then we will talk about the political violence and Real ID. I got to tell you, this Real ID thing, we're going to clear it up. We'll talk about it. You don't have to love it. You don't even have to get one. You don't actually have to get one, but we'll talk about it and where I think people are getting a little too caught up in the Real ID. I'll call it hysteria. All right, let's get to a word from our friends at OFP Farms. Ladies and gentlemen, Mother's Day is right around the corner. It's on May 11th. May 11th at OFP Farms, our good friends over there in California. They have the greatest goat milk products on the market. They have done it again, crafting fabulous luxury gift boxes for moms, not birthing people, not chest feeders, moms that will not break the bank. $29, $45, and $65 or $69 respectively. These beautiful gift boxes are flying off the shelves. Got stuff like, look, this soap, this goat milk soap, this is the revolution. My. It is so, don't say that. It is so nice. Smells so good. We love the Outlaw soap the most because it, smelling like a felon. Our good friend Snarl Barkley in the chat, smelling like a felon. The beautiful OFP Farms Mother's Day gift boxes are flying off the shelves thanks to jaw-dropping discounts. So hustle up, get in there quick before they're gone. Guess what? Usually it's 15% off, right? Right now you can snag an extra 20% off of your entire order with the promo code Sean, S-H-A-W-N, S-H-A-W-N, S-H-A-W-N. OFPFarms.com, promo code Sean for the Mother's Day promo. You see it right there on your screen. Hurry up, it's only for a limited time only. Go to OFPFarms.com to explore their treasure trove of goat milk, tallow, and all-natural goodies. Have a great time shopping for mom or anybody else. OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN, like you see it on the screen. OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN. OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN for 20% off, guys. I used to be a crap stick addict. Brennan told me, and anybody who uses chapstick right now, do yourself a favor, look on the back, on the label of your chapstick. It tells you who it's owned by. Pfizer. We don't like Pfizer, right?
I said, get that crap out of here.
She's like, that's owned by Pfizer, right? I was like, no. She's like, it is. Look. I looked. I was like, oh, no. What am I going to do?
I actually do something before Sean.
And she's like, what do you mean, what are we going to do? Our friends are Denise and Corey from OFP Farms. Use the goat kisses. All right, let's give it a try. The best stuff in the world.
He eats it.
It's so good. All right. It's OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN. Mother's Day Fonda is on May 11th. There's your live chat from Rumble. Rumble.com/LFA TV. That's where that's the cool kids table. That's where we're centralized, where our network lives and breathes and exists. Rumble.com/LFA TV if you want to jump in the live chat there. Although I am checking live chats in other spots. AZ Mama says, I have a real ID over there on X. Plum Martian says, I love you from California. Believe it or not. I believe it. I believe it. You're beautiful people. All right, let's get to this. Political violence, right? Josh Shapiro's family, man in custody after a fire was set at Josh Shapiro's home, the governor's residence in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. A man by the name of Cody Balmer. Cody Balmer. Wait till you see what this guy looks like. Look, looks aren't everything. I understand. You could look a certain way. Thomas Massey, by the way, is still throwing a temper tantrum over Real ID, which he just has become somebody who, I'll tell you, he's just been very interesting to see the way he's been acting throughout the Trump administration. By the way, have you seen what happened to Keith Olbermann? You guys see what Keith Olbermann looks like lately? This is a guy, oh my goodness, look at this guy. Whew. You can just see like the life has been sucked out of him by demons, probably. Here is Cody Balmer. Let me see if I could find the photo of him that went out yesterday. Here's Cody Balmer. This is the guy who apparently, allegedly, right, set fire to Governor Josh Shapiro's home in Pennsylvania. Looks like your regular run-of-the-mill degenerate. There are rumors that maybe he was upset that land was seized. Not sure. But that is Cody Balmer. He was taken into custody in connection to the arson investigation. And he's also been charged with attempted homicide, aggravated arson. 38-year-old Cody Balmer of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Apparently, Cody Balmer, this is some of the pictures that were found on his social media. People take pictures with guns, not necessarily a bad thing. Just doesn't look like a great guy. I will say that, okay? Doesn't look like a great guy. I'm not defending him. We don't know all the facts yet, so I don't want to, obviously we don't want to rush to judgment, but, you could look at him and say, okay, not the greatest of people. Josh Shapiro is okay. His family is okay. But the amount of damage that was done to the home was, crazy. My question is, how the hell did he get past security? This guy's the governor of Pennsylvania, and someone just a lunatic was able to do, let me show you the damage. It's part of the thumbnail for the show. This is the damage of the home that Shapiro and his family, the governor's residence. Look at this. All right, so, this stuff is no joke. Well, I find it ironic, though, that now that Governor Josh Shapiro has become a victim and a target of political violence, that the left, all of a sudden, is no longer a fan of arson. Because a couple weeks ago, when members of the left, supporters of the left, were setting fire to Tesla charging stations, Tesla dealerships, when IEDs and viable explosives were found in a Texas Tesla dealership, the left was nowhere to be found. It was crickets. They didn't care about it. But now that one of their own and a possible presidential frontrunner in his own right in 2028 for the Democrat nomination anyway, now that one of their own has come under fire, they're like, political violence is unacceptable. No, well, we know that. Unfortunately for the left, political violence is acceptable when it's committed against their political opponents, right? When somebody shoots at Donald Trump, you have people online saying, it's just a shame he missed. When somebody like Ryan Wesley Ruth is caught hiding in the bushes, you got people online saying, it's a shame that, that they caught him in time. When people like myself, Brennan, right? Cat Turd, Gunter Eagleman, Mike Engelman, Walter Kurt, Matt Van Swal, Juanita Broderick, Larry Taunton, Dustin Grage, and so many others Now Steve Loves Ammo on X. When folks like that are swatted, and I apologize if I forgot anybody, when folks like that, Owen Schroyer, Chase Geiser, when people like that are swatted, it's, oh, that wasn't real. You did it for clout. Yeah, sure. They don't have a problem when it happens to us. When it happens to them, they start getting upset. And it's one of those ain't no fun when the rabbit's got the gun moments. Right? So, and here's the thing. So far, with all the information that we have, the verified information, not the rumors, but the verified information, excerpts and screenshots from Cody Ballmer's Facebook page, comments that he has made under his account, he looks like a leftist, okay? So this isn't even something they can come and point back to the right and say, well, Trump's rhetoric caused da-da-da-da-da-da. If anything, it seems like maybe Bernie Sanders, hello? No. I am not a capitalist. I am a socialist, but you have to pay $95 to watch me speak. And it's $39.99 for my book. It's Bernie Sanders' socialist revolution rhetoric that's inflaming people. I always like to talk about the, Frankenstein, Jurassic Park, Terminator, iRobot, where a creator, a person makes something. And that something, that creation that they make, winds up growing exponentially and becoming something that they can't control. Right? Jurassic Park, it was dinosaurs. Terminator, it was robots. iRobot, it was robots. You have the dire wolves, right? Frankenstein, you're bringing a guy back to life and he escapes and terrorizes a town. And that's exactly the same analogy that could be applied to the left and political violence. They started this. BLM, burning down cities, vandalizing small businesses, doxing, canceling, stalking, assaulting people, Antifa, constantly excusing that behavior. You had the Department of Justice, which didn't really care to hold anybody on the left accountable, setting the precedent that what they were doing was okay, right? Laws only matter if what? If they're enforced. They set the precedent. They set the stage for something like this to happen. Now it's happening, and they're upset that it's happening. Well, maybe if they hadn't normalized it and desensitized people to it and made it seem like it's okay, it wouldn't be happening. It's not hard for me to come on here this morning and say to you that I condemn political violence in all forms, because I do condemn political violence in all forms. Even, yes, January 6th. That's not to say that everybody who was involved in January 6th was involved or was committing political violence. That's to say that there were some people, a small percentage of the large crowd, did things on January 6th that I would consider political violence that is not okay. Again, nobody's perfect. I'm not saying that if somebody in the chat is a J6er who, was dragged. That's not saying, I don't think your due process rights should be violated over it. I don't think you should be mistreated by the Department of Justice over it. All I'm saying is any form of political violence is unacceptable. I don't think that's controversial. I think we could all agree. And even if you know somebody on January 6th who committed an act of political violence, right? I'm not casting or smashing or smashing, bashing their character. I'm saying they made a mistake. I don't think they were trying to overthrow the government. I think, like it happens, we've seen it, you get caught up. But it's not hard for me to come out and say I condemn political violence in all forms, because I always have. Matter of fact, January 7th, 2021, which for the liberals who are watching is one day after January 6th, right? 6th, 7th, 8th. It's counting. It's math. Easy. I was going to Costco. Our good friend The Long was with me. And NBC News called. Hi, this is NBC News. I said, oh, it's the fake news. Look at this. No, I didn't say that. I said, what do you guys want? They said, oh, we see that you were at January 6th yesterday, the riot. We'd like to get comment. I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not home. They said, where are you? We'd love to meet you. I said, well, I'm going to Costco. They said, which one? We'll be right there. And on NBC News, live, I don't know where this I don't think they aired it because of what I said. I said, listen, all political violence is unacceptable. If you committed political violence, that's unacceptable. And by the way, my vehicle and the folks that I went to January 6th with, our vehicles were stalked by Antifa and vandalized while we were protesting peacefully. We were victims of the same political violence that you seem to have a problem with. They didn't air that. Of course not. Didn't fit the narrative, right? But it's easy for me to come out and say, I don't agree with any political violence, because I don't. I've been a target of political violence for the last 5 years. A lot of people have it worse than I do, including Donald Trump. He got shot at. Our home was swatted a month ago. The pizza delivery thing is still going on. We still get, I still get interesting messages in some of my DMs. Fine, whatever. It is what it is. It's, I'm not, it comes with the territory of being an online personality. I get it. I'm not saying, poor me. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm saying I know firsthand that political violence is not necessarily an enjoyable thing. So I can come out here in front of you and say, I denounce all of it equally. The left can't do that. Booker yesterday, Cory Booker, political violence has no place. Where were you when Teslas were being blown up, keyed? When dealerships were being bombed? So when a Democrat's targeted, it's unacceptable. But when Elon Musk and Tesla and random Tesla owners who may not even have voted for Trump are targeted, you're nowhere to be found? This is called fake behavior, phony behavior. And there's no place for that either. Now, I hope if Cody Balmer is found guilty, beyond a reasonable doubt of these crimes and of this alleged attack on Josh Shapiro and his family, I hope he goes to prison for the rest of his life. I hope he's held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. And then when we're done with him and we find out who is, calling in these false SWAT calls, we find out who's firebombing these Tesla dealerships, I hope those people go to jail for the rest of their lives as well. And that, my friends, is what standards look like. It's not okay when we do it. It's not okay when someone else does it. It's not okay, period. All right. Quick break, and then we'll get to Real ID, because I've been waiting to do this for all morning. I can't wait to do Real ID. I was going to do it 5 minutes ago, but then I was no, let's do it in one solid segment. Before we do Real ID, before we get to all that good stuff, I want to talk to you about our new friends, our new sponsors over at AmericanFinancing.net. Have you guys spoken to American Financing yet? If you haven't, I don't know what you're waiting for. I honestly don't know what you're waiting for. Folks, with everything that's happening in the economy, it feels like we're all walking on shaky ground. Prices are stuck at a really high level right now. It seems like nothing is affordable anymore. It's no wonder why many people are relying on credit cards to fill the gaps. Credit card debt, folks, is skyrocketing. And it's leaving a lot of people stressed out. You pulling your hair out over your credit card debt? Many people are. If you're a homeowner, you don't have to face this uncertainty alone. My friends at American Financing can help you take control. Get back in that driver's seat, hands on the wheel. They can help you access the equity in your home to help you pay down that high-interest credit card debt, giving you peace of mind and real savings. On average, folks, people just like you are saving $800 per month. That's an average of $9,600 a year. It's almost $10,000. Plus, they may close your loan in as little as 10 days. Do not let the chaos of the economy get the best of you. Call American Financing now. It costs you nothing to get started, and you may delay 2 mortgage payments, giving you a little cushion in this uncertain time. Give them a call at 866-885-8027, 866-885-8027, 866-885-8027, or you can contact them online at americanfinancing.net/my last name, which you see on your screen, americanfinancing.net/FARASH, americanfinancing.net/FARASH, or 866-885-8027. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Next up is our good, amazing, beautiful, right? We call it beautiful. LFA TV store. The LFA TV store is right there on your website, on your screen, the LFA TV website. Click on that LFA TV store tab. You'll see everything there is to offer. Don't just click on the store tab, though. Click on this right here. You see where it says visit the store? That gives you the full smorgasbord of amazing merchandise that you can go ahead and peruse and browse. Look at the I don't really care. I love that. I don't really care, Margaret. No, JD Vance just kicking ass and taking names in front of the mainstream media. Made in America shirt, 4547, this mug with all the iconic photos on it. All sorts of great stuff here at the LFA TV store. It's LFATV.us, LFATV.us. Beach towels, tank tops, sweatpants, coffee. Look at that. Look at that. Rise Up Coffee. That's the show that's on right before us, our LFA TV. Rise Up, Jeremy Herrell's show. Right before we come on. Rise Up Coffee. Everything there is. There's something for everybody on the LFA TV store. So that's LFATV.us, LFATV.us, or JeremyHerrell.com/store. Okay, are we ready? Are you ready for us to come? Right, Creed. I cut the grass listening to Creed. The grass has never looked better. Some may say, I mowed the lawn with arms wide open under the sunlight. The grass was like, can you take me high? I was like, nope, mowed. Keep that arm down because, we raise it a little bit. One of our people in the chat will get excited about my arm being raised up like that. The left will be, oh, he did a salute. All right. All right, here we go. Are we ready? Is everybody, should we do this in advance? The seatbelt sign. No, I'm not actually going to I don't think I'm actually going to get worked up over this Real ID because it's really simple, this Real ID thing. Okay? Look, let me start it off with this. I am in no way, shape, or form a fan of big government. In no way, shape, or form, right? Like, not even close. I think everybody who's been watching this show for the last almost 3 years now. I think everybody who has been a part of this show for as long as it's been running understands that I have a very strong and prevalent libertarian streak in that I oppose almost every single form of expanded government. As a matter of fact, I oppose every form of expanded government. Okay? With that said, Real ID, unless I'm missing something really big, is not expanded government. Okay? This is not a new form of identification that you have to have. This is not even something that you must have in order to fly. This is something that has been in the works since 2005. This is something that is not even an option in some states to opt out of because it is so inconsequential. So for those of you who don't know what Real ID is, it's essentially your driver's license, non-driver ID, a photo ID that's issued by a government entity that has a star on the top right corner of the ID, which essentially means that you provided additional verification to say who you are, where you reside, your legal status, and etc. Okay? It's not, a lot of people I think got worked up over Real ID thinking this was another form of identification that you need so the government can be more involved in your life. It is not. It is not. Okay? My driver's license is a real ID. All right, it's got the star on it. My driver's license when I was in New York was not a real ID. I renewed it. I didn't know I had to get one of these. The law didn't take effect yet, so I had a driver's license without a star. I moved to Tennessee. I got a new driver's license, and I got one with the star. I did not get another form of identification. I did not have to go out of my way and obtain a new form of ID. I got the same ID that I already had, my driver's license, and this time it has a star on it. Now, there are folks who are equating the little star, right, the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5-point star that's on this ID to the Star of David that people had to wear in Nazi Germany. Folks, that is ridiculous. First of all, it's not the same star. Okay, you see this? That star right there? That's what's on the corner of the real ID. There's 50 of these things on the American flag. Don't be stupid and play this game. Or it's the same thing as the Star of David. And you know what happened to those Jews? No. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. There are some people who think this is a new form of identification. It isn't. In other words, when I say a new form, an additional form of ID that you have to get, it's not. There are some people who believe that the real ID, the driver's license, now has more information on it that you're handing over to the government. It isn't. There are some people who think this is a road that the World Economic Forum is going to take to put you in a camp. I mean, we've had it for a couple of years. The WEF has not knocked on our door once. SWAT team has, but that's not why. There are some people who think this is going to lead to facial recognition. I got news for you. These are already recognizing your faces, okay? There are some folks who believe this is going to lead to government surveillance and are commenting that on social media, which is connected to the internet, logging your keystrokes, logging your location, logging what you're physically, verbally saying. All of this drama about real IDs, folks, either is A, manufactured on purpose by the people who are outraged because of what I have seemed to have diagnosed here as an addiction to outrage. What do I mean by that? And please don't take this the wrong way, because I'm not telling you you all have to get a real ID and you're stupid for not having a real ID. I'm just saying there are things to be upset about. And then there's this. And this is so inconsequential. But here's the problem I think we have, especially in this connected world. I just said it's an addiction to outrage. And I have fallen prey to this many, many times. It's very easy. Sometimes it's fun to get upset and take a stand against something, right? It's fun to be outraged over things. By fun, I mean it feels good to dig in and be principled. And no, we cannot allow illegals across the border. But you see, when you allow illegals across the border and you're allowing these drug lords and these child rapists and these smugglers to come across the border, there's a real problem there. Real ID is not going to change your life at all. Again, it's not a new or additional form of identification. It is quite literally your driver's license with one extra symbol on it. If you have a driver's license, you may already have a real ID. You may not even know it. It's not about government control at all. It is quite literally your driver's license. That's all it is. But I feel like there are two types of people. There are people, consumers of content, who are addicted to outrage. They will watch something, they will go online to find something that gets them mad so they can rage post about it and just really be fired up about it because that's what they like to do. I would encourage you, maybe don't live that, because you're gonna be mad all the time. Who wants to be mad all the time? And then there are people who give you that content, who purposefully whip you up and tell you that something like as inconsequential as Real ID is an existential threat to the free world as we know it. Not because they actually believe it, but because they know that when they say this to you, You're going to come back to them tomorrow, so you feel like you're preparing for Armageddon. Think back to the COVID model in CNN. Why did CNN use that death clock? Why? So that later in the day or the next day, you turned it on to see what the death clock was at, to see how many cases there were. I used to, Bongino said this all the time. They don't tell you the story, they tell you a story. I used to say something very similar. These people who are fear-mongering over Real ID are not telling you what you need to hear. They are telling you what they need you to hear so that you keep tuning back into them. Now, I get it. There are people who are legitimately concerned about what this means for them. Are they going to be able to fly? Is this expanded government? And I'm telling you folks, as a small government purist myself, that is not what this is. That is not what this is. And even more than that, what if this is something that is being used, Real ID, to secure our elections? I said this a couple of days ago. Or 2 days ago, I said this very thing about Real ID. Okay? 2 days ago, I said this very thing about Real ID. Let me get to this. Let me get to the full post that I made over on X. That what if Real ID is being used as not voter ID, because that has to be implemented in all 50 states without the federal government, but what if I told you, this is what I said about Real ID. I said lots of overreactions to the Real ID requirement to fly. Many of your driver's licenses are already considered Real ID by default. However, since we're going to be requiring this ID to fly, let's also require this ID to vote. Does anyone second this motion? And people lost their mind. Oh, you're selling out to big government. You're selling out to the deep state. You're a shill. You're bought off. Here we go with the bought off again, as if, certain people from New Jersey couldn't stop making things up. Now you have, other people from other states now thinking that I'm bought off, like what happened with Big Soda. I'm not bought off by anybody. I have a Real ID, folks. I'm still alive. We're still here. Everything's fine. I'm not in a re-education camp. But my thing was, what if it's used in such a way that it can clean our voter rolls, it can secure our elections? Well, I don't know if you saw this. It's okay if you didn't. That's why we're here. That's why I do this show. We bring you the news. Kristi Noem this morning on Fox News was asked about Real ID, or brought up Real ID in a conversation about Homeland Security. It's her position. Listen to what she said. It's not just me anymore. It's your Secretary of Homeland Security telling you this is what she wants to use Real ID to do. Listen.
It's amazing what President Trump has already done by closing down the border, making sure we're enforcing our federal laws, doing all we can to identify those that are in this country that don't belong here, that are committing crimes. And we're continuing to enact policies that will give us the chance to do that. You've had quite a bit of discussion on Real ID and its implementation here in the country. And the reason that Real ID is being enforced is because it's a federal law. Joe Biden kicked the can to May 7th. And this Real ID is going to just empower the states to make sure we're checking people's residences. Their current legal status will be verified. We're going to make sure that people who are getting Social Security numbers in this country aren't voting in states. The states have the power and the information to ensure election integrity. And here at the federal level, that information is not going to be any biometric information. It'll just allow people to get an ID that they should be on our planes. They should be people that are United States residencies, and that legal status will be checked. So it'll allow us to get more information to states so that they're making sure that they're protecting their election laws as well.
Protecting their election laws as well. Interesting. Now, I know I've seen people say, I don't care what it is, I'm not getting one, even though they may already have one. It is not a no holds barred. It is not a hard and fast requirement to fly. A lot of people think Now they got to go out of their way and find their birth certificate and 2 things and go to the DMV and wait in line just so they can get on an airplane. No, 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 no. You don't have to have a real ID to fly. If you have a passport that is valid, i.e. not expired, you don't need a real ID. You don't need a real ID if you have a passport to fly. In other words, you're one of these folks who doesn't want to do this for whatever reason. You are diametrically opposed to real ID, and you think it's a tool of the deep state and the government control and all of this, and that's it, and nothing's going to change your mind. I think you're wrong. I think you're caught up in something. I don't think that's, rational, but that's okay. We could agree to disagree. If you want to come fly to Tennessee, you don't need one if you have a passport. Real IDs are optional. You will not need a real ID to drive, to vote, to apply for federal benefits like Social Security, to enter a federal facility that otherwise does not require an ID, like a post office, to go to a hospital, to participate in law enforcement proceedings or investigations like jury duty. If you have a domestic flight planned, a real ID is recommended. You used to just be able to give your driver's license, and you still can give your driver's license if it has a little star on it. It costs the exact same amount as a driver's license, too. Doesn't cost any more. That could depend on the state, but I know it didn't cost any more in Tennessee. There wasn't even 2 options. Brennan, remember when we applied for it? I didn't even know if I was getting one. I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't even ask them for this enhanced or real ID. Now what's going to happen? I'm going to get a license and I got to fly in a couple of weeks. And then what are we going to do? And what happened? It came in the mail, had a star on it. It wasn't even an option for us. But you can use a passport in the airport and not have a real ID. So let's just clear this up once and for all. If this is an instrument of government control, it's an optional instrument of government control. It's not a very good instrument of control if it's optional, right? I wouldn't say so. It's not an instrument of government control. It's not an additional form of identification. It's not even required. Never in my life have I seen something that is meant to control the populace that is optional. Now, if you don't have a passport and you don't have a real ID, you can still fly. You could show your driver's license and go through identity verification with TSA in the airport. And it is mandatory in the absence of other forms of identification, but you do not need one to fly. You can go to the airport with a passport. You can have a regular driver's license with no star. You can go to the airport with your passport, show it to TSA, and board your flight. So it's not required. It's not. And as I said, and this article on the Hill will back it up, even if you don't have a real ID, if you do not have a real ID and have a domestic flight planned for departure after May 7th, you don't panic. You can use another approved identification to board your flight. The TSA lists several on the website, including a passport, passport card, state-issued enhanced driver's license, which is available in 4 states, a photo ID issued by a federally recognized tribal nation, Pocahontas is happy, veteran health ID card, among others. TSA notes that even if you arrive at the airport without a valid form of ID, you can still fly by completing an identity verification process with a TSA officer. Granted, it will take you a long time. But ladies and gentlemen, this is not even a hard and fast, no exceptions. But ladies and gentlemen, so answer me this. What tool of government control is this loose? What tool of government control is optional? What tool of government control and deep statery and all this is giving people this much wiggle room. The vaccine mandates were were tighter than this. This is a lot of outrage and a lot of emotion and a lot of just I don't know how to over what really is less than nothing, and over something that may actually be able to secure our elections. There's a lot of fear being floated about this whole Real ID thing. And fear is a powerful tool. You want to know about government control? You don't want to fall for a psyop like that? Look at who's scaring you about Real ID. That's the tool, the most powerful tool that the government or anybody can use to control you is fear. Don't be afraid of this stuff. You know me. Okay? You know me. If I think something is bad, specifically something that can lead to bigger government, like how many times have I said I don't like the TikTok ban? Because then they could set the precedent for the government to ban any app that they believe is owned by a foreign adversary. How many times have I even said I don't want a federal voter ID legislation because I don't want the government to assume that much control over how states run their elections? Because then who's to say in 5 years, 10 years from now, a Democrat wins and enacts a federal mandate for every state to implement no excuse absentee balloting? Those are all new things. You already have an ID that can be Real ID certified, your driver's license. If you don't drive, you can have a non-driver ID. I really don't think this is something to get crazy about. And I see a lot of people, I mean, the things people have said about me were just unreal about it. For simply saying 2 words, calm down. I mean, I said it in more than 2 words, but seriously, it's okay. This is not the gateway to the New World Order. That I promise you. Because what gateway to the New World Order is optional and give you that much wiggle room? I think it's wild. All right. Hopefully, I don't want to get crazy about it. But I wanted to touch on it. All right. Let's get to our friends over at tryarmor.com/LFATV. That's TRYARMRA.com/LFATV. Tryarmor.com/LFATV. Folks, you see it right on your screen. This is Armor Colostrum. I'm always looking for ways to improve my fitness, to strengthen my immunity, to help my gut health. I had some Costco pizza. That does not help the gut health, okay? Colostrum is the first nutrition that we receive in life. Contains all the essential vitamins and minerals that our bodies need in order to thrive, and it's right here, ready to go for you. You can reactivate your hair growth and help your skin glow. You could fortify your gut health and ignite your metabolism. You could fuel your fitness, performance, and recovery. That's right, you can harness the close-guarded secret of elite athletes, long prized for its unrivaled ability to take performance to its apex. Colostrum has been shown in research to help enhance nutrient absorption, promote lean muscle building, and improve endurance while fueling cellular repair regeneration for faster recovery. Colostrum has been shown to improve fitness endurance by 20%, decrease recovery time by over 50% after intense exercise, improve stamina, and specifically build lean muscle mass. Just go to tryarmra.com/LFATV for 15% off of your entire first order. That's tryarmra.com/LFATV. See it on your screen one more time. tryarmra.com/LFATV. tryarmra.com/Lima, Foxtrot, Alpha, Tango, Victor for 15% off. Okay. I got one thing left. I really got a couple. I'll put that into tomorrow's show. I'm going to give you an update on how the week is going to go. Wednesday, we're going to have a conversation with Craig who does the market show here on LFA TV. Listen, markets are not a sexy topic. It's not, fun, big, crazy. Please don't use age against me. I mean, please. There's nothing I don't like. That's a disingenuous argument. I'm sorry. I just don't like that. I haven't been around long enough to know. Come on. We're going to have a conversation with Craig. He's very talented market analyst. We're going to talk about the impact of tariffs and all of those types of things on the market, in the markets. We're going to be talking to him on Wednesday. Thursday, I've got a show pre-recorded because I will be out of town this week again, but we'll be back live Friday. So tomorrow's live, Wednesday, Thursday, pre-recorded, Friday live again. But so Wednesday's a market conversation. Thursday is an in-depth look at how bad Trump derangement syndrome is. Trump derangement syndrome on Thursday. It's a TDS special. You're not going to want to miss it. Yes, they're pre-recorded. I hate pre-recording too, but got to do it. There are things that came up we had to do. So we have that. Finally is this one here. Bernie and AOC are out touring. No. No. You will not tell me who and where you can have health care. People think Bernie Sanders getting ready to run for president. I'll tell you what I think's going on.
Bernie for president?
Well, he ran twice.
I want a t-shirt.
He ran twice. Feel the burn. There will be no Newsmax hit on Thursday, Fonda. Sorry. I think Bernie Sanders is, for lack of a better word, grooming or molding AOC to run in his place in 2028. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching and listening. We greatly appreciate it. We're live tomorrow, pre-recorded Wednesday and Thursday, live again on Friday when we'll do your calls. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Give us a follow, rumble.com/LFA TV. Hit that thumbs up button. I haven't asked it all today. So I don't know what the... Or 50 away. That's what happens when I don't ask. It's okay. Rumble.com/LFA TV. Jeremy Harrell coming up next with Live for America in about a minute. For 2 straight hours, as President Trump would say, we will never give up. We will never give in. We will never, ever surrender. And if all else fails, we will just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a fantastic rest of your Monday. Again, we're back live tomorrow, same time, same place, rumble.com/LFA TV. Rumble.com/LFA TV. Also on X as well. Appreciate everybody who watched and listened. In the words of the modern day, Plato, Aristotle, John Fetterman. Good night, everybody. Bang gavel. We'll see you back here live tomorrow morning.